Alright, my friends, for this lesson we are going to be using the pages 661 and 669. We're going to be talking about comparing measurements and choosing tools that will help us to measure the best. So we already talked about in our last lesson our two of our different types of ruler or measurements. One's the ruler, remember my nice clear one, I haven't found another one. That one, it measures inches, 12 inches or 1 foot. We can use a yardstick. 1 yard is 3 feet or 36 inches. And I don't think I got to show you that on lessons. There's our 36 inches. Those are two of the different ways you can measure. And there are also measuring tapes. So you have this kind that roll up in a nice handy little thing. This one goes up to 12 feet, or I have a really big one here that is 25 feet, or I have this cool flexible one, it's bendy. This is one I use for sewing, for measuring. This is great for like measuring around things. So I can measure how big my wrist is. I can actually wrap it around and then I can see, oh, my wrist is about 7 inches around. So that's kind of handy, and you can use these different things for measuring different stuff. So if I'm trying to measure on my arm, a ruler is not going to be that handy because it doesn't bend. So I want to use my flexible one for that. So finding the right tool for the job is really important to know how to do. So let's look at some of the things we can do. Let's see if I can move this. There we go. Now we can make sure to see our tape measure. So we have our 3 different measurements here. We have ruler, a yardstick or tape measure, ruler, yardstick, tape measure, okay, that measure different lengths. And if we're going to be measuring things, we want to make sure we have the right tool for the job. So let's look and see. If I'm trying to measure the length of a fence, okay, fences are pretty long, they go around our yards. Am I going to want to use a ruler for that? That's going to take me forever to measure. I don't think so. A yardstick, it's going to be a little better, but I think a tape measure is going to do the trick for that one. Okay, so if my fence, I'm going to use my tape measure for. A beetle. Beetles are not very big, so am I going to need a tape measure for that? It would work, sure. A yardstick would work, sure, but your best bet's probably going to be a nice little ruler. So that's going to be the best way to measure it, although the other ones will work. All right, your height. Now this one's kind of tricky. You could measure it with a ruler, but you'd have to kind of lay down, mark where you are, measure, measure, measure. Kind of going to take a while. A yardstick, probably the same thing. I think your height would be best measured with a tape measure, especially for me because I'm a little bit taller. I would take almost 2 yardsticks to figure that out, which I could do, but a tape measure is nice because I can just measure all of me in one long stretch. All right, the height of a mailbox. A mailbox you can probably do with a yardstick. Ruler would work, tape measure would work, but a yardstick's a nice height for that. How about a fish? Depends on the fish that you're measuring, right? If I'm measuring a little goldfish, I'm going to want to use a ruler. If I'm measuring like a big shark fish, I'm probably going to want to use a yardstick. So if I'm measuring a goldfish, I'm going to say it's a goldfish, and I'd say a ruler for that one. A hallway, like think of our classroom hallway or a hallway in your house. Using a ruler for that's going to take you a long time. A yardstick's probably going to be a pretty good bet, or a tape measure depending on how long your hallway is. So your house hallway, probably a yardstick, but for like the school hallway, you'd want to use a tape measure. And I think even my 25 tape measure, we're going to have to do a couple of times. I know I measured the hallway at my school where I used to work, and I had a 100-foot tape measure, and I had to use it like 1.5 times. It was a really long hallway. How about a little kitten? If I want to measure how tall a kitten is off of the ground, if they're not really tall, I can probably use a ruler for that. That's going to be the best tool. Now again, I can use all of these tools to measure any of these items, but we're thinking about what's going to be the easiest to use. Okay, so when we're talking about appropriate tools, it's the easiest to use. Okay. I think we're going to skip this one just because I don't want to run out of time again. I want to make sure that we get through everything. So you're going to be So here's a nice example of the different things. If we're measuring a highlighter or this marker right here, they're saying our inch ruler is going to be the best tool for this job because it's a short one. I don't need to have a long one. It's a little excessive. So here we go. If I take a look at these three, I have an eraser. Think about the eraser we use in our classroom. The best tool for this job would probably be what? I don't think I'm going to need to have a yardstick. That's kind of long. I don't think I need to have a tape measure. A ruler is going to be our best bet there. So we would write in ruler, and then I would actually go and measure it. Now, seeing as I don't have one of those at my house, I can't actually do that. But I know from experience, it's a little bit longer than my hand. So I'm going to measure my hand across with my ruler. And I'm going to add just a little bit. So the number for my hand is 4. So I'm going to say it's probably about 5 inches. Because I know that it's a little longer than my hand. Okay, now we're measuring the width of this hallway. Not measuring the long way that we would walk down, but we're going from wall to wall. What am I going to want to use for that? What's going to be my best bet? Okay, my ruler would take me forever to measure. I'd have to measure across like 8 or 9 or 10. So I think a yardstick would work, or a tape measure is going to be our best bet. I'm going to say a tape measure. So I could just take that and make one long measurement and have it. My A looks really awesome right there, guys. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to write tape because I won't have to try to measure out. And most hallways, if you're in a class or in a school, the hallway's probably, I would say, about 8 feet long. Now, of course, I am not measuring these. I'm just going off of what I know, so mine's a guess, an estimate. Oh, and you want to put what these are in. I am not doing that. 5 what? I could be measuring it in 5 feet, or 5 inches, or 5 yards, so I need to make sure I mark down that this one we were measuring it with inches. So I need to say 5 inches, and we abbreviate that with IN and a period, okay? That's short for inches. Now this one we were measuring in feet, so feet is FT for shortened version, feet, okay? So you want to make sure that we label how we're measuring. That's a very important step. We want to make sure people know that we're not measuring 8 inches for our hallway. That would be teeny weeny. Nobody would be able to walk down that hallway. Okay, so now if I measure my hand, I think a ruler would be a good one for this one too. And then I will actually measure my hand so we can see how long it is. And I think, let's see, I think my little one's long enough. Nope, it's not. I have to borrow a big one that's hard to see. So I put it down here, measure up here, and it's almost up to the 7. Oh, you can't see that. There we go. Almost up to the 7. There's the end of my finger. There's the 7. So I'm going to say 6 just because I want to put it longer. Now remember, I have to tell what I'm measuring in, so I'm just going to say 6 inches. Okay, not yards, not feet, not miles, inches. So in yours today, you're going to be doing some measuring of different objects. And again, if you don't have those things at home, find something that's similar. So a chair, you just measure your kitchen chair or their working chair, whatever you want to use. Your finger, hopefully everyone has that with them. It'd be kind of silly if you didn't. And then some of the other things, let me just see what we have. Oh, like a board. We don't have one of those. You can measure a window. That would work great. Just something that is about the size of like our classroom whiteboard. And a swing set. You can go outside, and if you have a swing set, go measure it. Okay. If you don't have a swing set, measure something else. Maybe you have a trampoline. There you go. That'd work great. Just make sure you write down what you measure so that I can know what you did. That would be fun. So let's talk about our second portion of this for the page 669. We're going to be comparing. And when we compare length, we use the words longer and shorter. Oh, let me get my writing tool so I can actually highlight those. We use the word longer and shorter when we're comparing. So you're going to be measuring, or in this case, we're going to be figuring out whose canoe is how long. And we're going to compare them. Okay, so we have Mara, Jordan, and Kelly riding in a canoe. Mara's canoe is 15 feet long. So we know that Mara is 15 here. Jordan's is 11 feet long, and Kelly's canoe is 17 feet long. So the nice thing is they're all in feet. That makes it easy for us. Now we have to figure out what they want to know. So Mara's canoe is blank feet blank than Kelly's canoe. So here we're going to say how many, and this one we're going to say longer or shorter. So I have to find Mara. Mara was 15, and Kelly's is 17. So we have to find the difference between 15 and 17. If I subtract, I know that there are 2 feet in between, so it's going to put a 2 here. And then we know we have to say whose is, let's see, so it's Mara compared to Kelly. So 15 is shorter, so I would write shorter here. And I'm going to write it really awesome because it's using a mouse. There we go, shorter. 2 feet shorter than Kelly's canoe, okay? And then I would compare Kelly's to Jordan's, so 17 and Jordan's is 11. So 17 and 11 is 6 feet difference. 17 take away 11 is 6. And Kelly's is the longer one, so Kelly's is longer. I'm just going to write long so I don't have to write those extra 2 letters. And then I would compare Jordan's to Mara's, which hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can. So then I would compare Jordan 17 to Mara's 15. Now remember we did, oh sorry, I'm doing Kelly's again. Jordan's is 11 to Mara's 15. So the difference between those is 4. And Jordan's is the first one, so we're going to say that it is shorter than Mara's. Okay? So you have to think about the way that they phrase it. We want to look at the first name or the first object and compare it to the second object. Okay? So you want to make sure you're looking at those when you are comparing. So you're going to be doing some measurement and you're going to be writing the comparisons. Let's come to where we're at. Keep going. So many to skip through. So we're looking at our baseball bat and our golf club. This one measures 33 inches. This one measures 31 inches. They measured it out for us. So then, wait, this is what it gives us. Think, ding. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm finding the difference. 33 take away 31. I know the difference between 1 and 3 is going to be 2. So then the golf club is 2 inches shorter than the bat. And remember, we want to tell which one. It says the golf club is first. So we know that we're going to say shorter. You can always look back at your picture for that. So that's what you're going to be working on today. You're going to go find things, you're going to go measure them, and remember, if you can't find the exact object, no worries. Just writing what you did measure and use that instead. So good luck, have fun, and get out there and measure.